Check. Okay. So the composite that you guys are working on, two different composites. One is basically going to be a seamless composite, where again you're sitting on a your camera's mounted to a tripod. Your elements within your image are moving around. You're doing multiple photographs of that scene, and then you're using masking and multiple layers to actually put together the composite. Is everybody comfortable with that? Yeah. Okay, and then the other version, again, would be an expanding the grid one. So it's, again, where you're taking multiple images of one scene, and then you are piecing those together, sort of a David Hockney-like-ish way. So are we comfortable with that too? I'm losing my voice. I know, right? We good with that as well? I know, I sound like a 13-year-old little. That's great. Yeah, okay, good. I had a career in the Vienna Boys Choir, and then my voice broke and it ended not. Oh, okay. So that's two kind of composites. We're actually, and this was a conscious decision on the part of the people when we were rewriting this class I think the compositing stuff in some ways becomes some of the most interesting stuff to do. So we decided to blow it out into so there's going to be a whole nother composite assignment that's going to happen in addition to what we have, what you guys are already working on. So this coming week, you will not only be working on putting together your seamless composites and you're expanding the frame in software, but you are also going to consider shooting another series of images to build a different type of composite. And I'm going to show you that different type of composite right now. There is if you look on our on our Canvas page, the slideshow lives there as well. So if you want to go back and revisit this, I'll simply show it to you from our Canvas site. So we're into week 6. It's hard to believe.
Quick question.
Shoot.
For this week, I only shot one of the
That's fine.
composites. Is that okay?
Yep. Okay, so right here is going to be, again, the assignment coming up this week, because this is our week right here. First off, I want you to do a written evaluation of the topology that you showed tonight. Again, and these guys, don't think about these things. These don't need to be dissertations. These can be relatively quick. I want them to have meaning, but I'm not trying to just layer and layer and layer more assignments on top of you. This finished composite number 1, the one that you're doing right now, this will be, again, the using software to piece these things together. And then this is the part for the next one that we're going to talk about. So this is what you would be planning on shooting this week. So if we take a look at composite number 2, it says in this one, basically this conversation is about credible and fantastical composites. So we're going to take a look at what those things actually are. But so that's basically what this assignment's going to be. So you will actually start the shooting process. There's a number of artists that I've actually showed you here. And so if we go back and look at the resources for session number 6 right here, you'll see that the slideshow that I'm talking about is right down here on the bottom. So compositing credible versus fantastical. If we click on this, now I'm going to go through this, but I'm going to blow through this pretty quick because there's 100 images in here. Who does that? Like when you guys go to an art museum, what are you good for? 20, 30, 40 possible image experiences, and then you start to like eye glaze over. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Or if you can rebound, right? You stop for lunch, and then you're in for the second round. So at any rate, I'm going to blow through this pretty fast, but it's here on our website. So if you want to go back and spend a little bit more time looking at this, you certainly can. Because again, I'm planning on doing this in a very quick amount of time because we got a lot to get through tonight. So at any rate, the first are going to be what we consider to be credible composites. And basically what these mean is that when you look at them at first glance, you are not all of a sudden looking at that saying, oh, clearly that is a composite that has been put together. But I can assure you that in these cases, these have all been built. The trees have been built. There's a lot that's actually been built in here, that things that have been added to this. So I'm just, again, going to blow through this. But they're composites that would not necessarily, on the surface, be immediately recognizable as composites. Now, I actually think this lady's work, whatever, this didn't really do a whole lot for me, but where she ultimately ends up taking this, I think, becomes extremely interesting. So there are elements in this. This element that's sitting right here in the middle is not in this picture normally. This has actually been added. She starts to build these constructions, and then these things start to evolve. So you actually see the sort of the rotating restaurant that's actually been added off into the side over here. So it just has really opened up a whole world of her, of things to build. And then this starts to then, I think, possibly begins to border back onto the fantastical again. This is now a building that has been constructed of 3 different buildings, but nonetheless, you sort of get where this whole thing is going. The next person down here, this is very similar to doing the seamless composites that you guys have actually been working on. So I would say that this is kind of an extension of that. It shares a similarity to it. The difference in this being is that there are none of the elements that are in here that are repeated, which is what's happening. I'm guessing in most of the seamless compositing that you're doing right now, there are images, are there figures or subject matter or material in there that is being repeated, and so in that sense, it's not necessarily credible because you see the same person 6 times, or the same cat 6 times, or the same whatever. So in that case, it's done in the very same style, but it's not a set of repeating people. So you got to sort of get what's going on here. So again, I'm going to blow through this stuff pretty quick. These are far less understood as composites, even though they are, again. So then we jump more into the fantastical part of it all. Some of this stuff gets to be really off the rails. So in this case, this is really clearly bordering on cutout collage, although this is done electronically. It's done digitally, but you can sort of see where this is going. So there's clearly no reality in any of this. This is sort of hard to understand what this really is until we start to zoom in on some of this. And again, these are all total constructions. These are not laid out like this and then photographed in a single photograph. These are all built an element at a time. Hardcore propaganda poster series. And this is sort of combining photography with illustration, which you're more than welcome to do. This is another really sort of unusual, odd set of composites. Again, the sort of mismatch of lighting and scale in these is a clear indication that these things are not real. Impossible lighting. These are actually far more subtle in a weird way, although she does these serious distortions to, sorry, how did that happen? These serious distortions to these kids' faces and then comps them back together. Probably some of the most famous compositors that is actually out there that works sort of more in this fantastical vein, Maggie Taylor. And then these are just like these insane constructions. I love these guys. They're just, yeah. So at any rate, my suggestion to you guys in doing this is that you do not need to only work with the pictures that you shoot. You can work with sound, you can work with found imagery. So really good collection of sites. I'm going to show this to you really quickly. Everybody grab their phone really fast. I wasn't really planning on doing this, but I'm gonna show it to you. It's a place that I go to all the time to get really, to get to get sources of free imagery that is a high enough resolution that you can actually work with it. So where did you go? I'm not going to make you wait for this, guys. I'll find it. Oh, I thought these were all together. So yeah, I'll find it. Somebody shoot me an email right now and ask me to send you all the links to the large. So basically, there's sites that you can go to that have a huge amount of free downloadable high-res imagery, and you can go in and you can pick and choose from that kind of stuff. Download it. You're welcome to use that material in your composites. Google Images is another great source. If you are going to do Google Images, I'm just going to show you one quick trick. So I'm going to go to Google Images right here. When you actually do something in Google Images, like I'll do butterfly, and say okay to that, and you get up a whole bunch of butterflies, you can actually, again, resolution is going to be the thing that'll actually trip you up in this. So if you click on the drop down here for tools, over here on size, click on this drop down for size. You want to be in this large size. You can actually do larger than. Typically anything over 2 megapixels is probably going to be big enough for you to actually work with in a composite. So if I simply click on that, all of the imagery that I'm looking at right now is going to be large enough in scale for me to actually bring that into a photograph that I made with my little Canon camera and have it be high res enough that you can actually work it out with. So just so that you guys know that that part exists. And that's going to be that. Okay, we are going to depart really quickly. I'm going to go back to, so a couple things to actually look at, and I want everybody to go ahead and do this right now. If you go to our resource page on your computer, and there's a set in the very top here called Working Files. There's two zips. There's this retouching practice files, and then there's liquefying an image video practice files. If you simply click on these to download both of these, go ahead and download them to your computer, and that way you can we can unzip them. We're going to actually work in class tonight on these files, so we're going to actually be doing some stuff right there. There's a couple of videos that are definitely worthwhile watching. The first one is this How to Remove Wrinkles and Blemishes. It's only about 15 minutes long. This is a guy named Jesus Ramirez. His group is called the Photoshop Training Channel. He's extremely articulate. He's an extremely bright guy. He's a very talented guy. He's a very smart guy. So he's somebody to get to know. I've subscribed to this guy's channel for years. It might be worth considering doing the same. He's also the one who did this How to Whiten Eyes Blend If modes. This is a little bit more advanced maybe than we want to get into at this stage of the game in this class. So if you don't go down the road and watch this one, that's okay. The next one, though, we are going to watch, which means that I need to stop the video right now, because every time I have shown this movie in this class while it's being shown on YouTube, YouTube flags me for a copyright violation for actually running this thing, even though it sits on YouTube. What can I tell you? So I'm going to stop the video right now. We're going to take a quick look at this, and then we're going to have a small joint discussion, I hope. So let me stop the video.